So after the students share their ideas on class on how they show their love to their parents and what are they willing to sacrifice for that for them. So this time I am going to select again a few students to share their stories or experiences in showing their love for their parents. So this activity is conducted within 5 minutes only. So for the analysis part, um, I am going to let the class think of possible questions in the elements of a story using the 5 W's and H. So I am going to put this one on the board, the 5 W's and H. First, we have the who. Then, next, we have the what. Then next, we have the when. Then next, we have the why. After the why, we have the where. And lastly, I have here the how. Okay, so I am going to tell the students now that these words, the who question, the what question, the when, the why, where, and the how question, are used for introductory words in the story. The story of the Great Bell. So these are introductory words to be used later on for them to construct questions right after watching the short animated movie clip that I researched.
Nearly 500 years ago, the celestial August, the son of heaven, Yonglu, illustrious or Ming dynasty, commanded the worthy official Guan Yu that he should make a bell.
Guan Yu, you should make a bell made of such size that the sound thereof might be heard for 100 li. And also, the voice should be strengthened with brass, deepened with gold, and sweetened with sulfur. That the face and the great lips of it should be graven with blessed sayings from the sacred books.
As you wish, my lord. Therefore, the worthy Mandarin Guan Yu assembled the masters, molders, and renowned bellsmiths of the empire. They measured the materials for the alloy and they treated them skillfully.
Prepare the molds, the fires, the instruments, and the monstrous melting pot for fusing the metals.
And they labored exceedingly, toiling both night and day in obedience to Kuan Yin, and striving in all things to do the behest of the Son of Heaven. But when the metal had been cast, and the earthen mold separated from the glowing casting,
Why did this happen?
This can't be! We have to make the bell again!
the Son of Heaven heard. He was angry, but spoke nothing. The second time the bell was cast, the result was even worse.
Impossible! It became worse!
We must repeat this once again.
Why are you here?
Master, their second attempt was still unsuccessful.
What?
When the Son of Heaven heard these things, he was angry than before, and sent a letter to Kuan Yin.
This to him!
Yes, Master. Give this to your father.
From the mighty Yonglu, the sublime tide song, the celestial and august, whose reign is called Ming to Kuan Yin the Fuyin.
Twice thou hast betrayed the trust we had deigned graciously to place in thee. If thou fail a third time in fulfilling our command, thy head shall be severed from thy neck. Tremble and obey.
When I received the letter from the Son of Heaven, I knew then that another failure would cause great consequences to our family, and then I felt unconscious. When I woke up, since then, I could not sleep or rest, for thinking of my father's danger.
I secretly sold some of her jewels to an astrologer.
Here are some of my jewels.
For that, I will give you an advice that might save your father from the peril impending over him. And brass will never meet in wedlock. Silver and iron will never embrace until the flesh of a maiden be melted in the crucible, until a blood of a virgin be mixed with the metals in the future.
I went home knowing what I must do. The day has arrived, the final attempt to make the bell and to sacrifice myself to save my father.
Kongai was accompanied by a waiting woman to the foundry. Everyone worked in silence. Only the mutterings of the fires can be heard.
And waited for my father's signal to cast the bell, and I knew then what I must do. Before father even lifted his fingers, I cried that caused him to turn his head.
And Kongai leaped into the white flood of metal.
Kungay! No!
Then the father of Kongai, wild with his grief, he would have leaped after her, but the strong men held him back.
Let me go! Kungay, my daughter!
She's already dead. We can't do anything to bring her back. We have to continue our work.
The glow of the metal seems purer and whiter than before. There was no sign of the body of Kongai that has been entombed therein. The casting was made, and when the metal became cool, and they made a perfect bell.
So after my students have watched the short animated video clip that I prepared for them, I also prepared lots of activities for them. So for my assessment part, I used collaborative and differentiated activities so that I could let my students gather their ideas collaboratively, and through these differentiated activities, my students will be able to explore their innate talents and skills that are hidden within themselves. So, after their short video clip viewing, I did group the class into 3 groups. The first group will have their outputs for this one. It is called Ring That Bell. Okay, so what are they gonna do? For group 1, Ring That Bell, they are going to have a description of the bell, like this one. First is they're going to draw the bell at the center, and then they're going to put a table here on both sides of the bell at the center, and then on the right side here on this side they're going to describe the bell before Kongay leaped to the furnace. And on the other side of the bell, they are going to describe the bell right after Kongay leaped into the furnace. So this will be going to be their output for group number 1, the Ring That Bell. Okay. And after having this illustration, they have process questions to answer. What are these process questions? First is, why was the story given the title, The Soul of the Great Bell? So this is their process question number 1. Then the second process question for group 1, the Ring That Bell team, is this one. What values or traditions are common to both Filipinos and Chinese in the story, The Soul of the Great Bell? So that's the output for group number 1. Okay, so for group 2, the Values Galore, they are going to have an output like this one. Okay. The table here shows that they are going to have an illustration like this one, that on the right side of the bond paper, they're going to put the Chinese values traditions that are present on the story of the Great Bell. And on the other side of the bond paper, they're going to support the details that are found in the story in relation to the Chinese values traditions that they have found. And aside from writing those informations, what is more exciting on group 2, the Values Galore group, is they are going to have it or act it in front of the class. What are they going to act? They are going to act the words written in this Chinese values or traditions that are found in the story of the Great Bell. And then, for group 3, I prepared Spin a Story Wheel. So what is this all about? So for group 3, they're going to have this illustration like this one. There is a wheel, and at the center of the wheel, there's a bell. So they can use recycled folder for this activity. So they're going to make a wheel just like this one, but they're going to answer the questions: the who, the where, the why, the how, the when, and the what. So there are guide questions also. For the who were involved in the story of the Great Bell. For the where did this happen? For the why did the author tell this story? And how was the story told? When did the action takes place? And for the what happened? So These are the different outputs. Okay, so for the preparation for the new lesson that I am going to discuss for tomorrow, I let the class find in the story on signals or words used as connectives. So I am going to let them identify at least 5 examples. And then they're going to write this one on their activity notebooks. And for the wrap up or the concluding activity, I'm going to ask a volunteer about how they feel and what are their learnings while doing such differentiated activities.